Memory is a terrible food critic. It filters out the bad takes, amplifies the emotional context, and convinces you that everything you ate between the ages of 7 and 14 was a golden era product that no current manufacturer could replicate. We are here to challenge that. We tracked down 13 childhood snack classics, some discontinued and re-released, some continuous production, and tasted them as adults with no nostalgia safety net. The results were humbling in both directions. The ones that held up: Dunkaroos Original. Dunkaroos were discontinued in the United States in 2012 and reintroduced in 2020 to almost hysterical demand. And here's the thing, they actually deserve it. Tasting Dunkaroos as an adult with calibrated expectations, the product is legitimately good. The graham cookie component has a real crunch and a genuine sweetness that's more vanilla than just sugar. The frosting, which is what everyone claims to remember, is a cream cheese adjacent sweetness that's richer and more developed than most frosting products. The experience of scraping frosting with a cookie is a genuinely sound one. Dunkaroos were good. They are still good. We say this without qualification. Better than memory required. These hold up. Surge, the citrus soda. Surge was Coca-Cola's early attempt to compete with Mountain Dew. A citrus-forward, aggressively carbonated, heavily caffeinated soda marketed directly at teenagers who wanted maximum stimulation from their beverage. It was discontinued in 2003. It returned in a limited Amazon exclusive run starting in 2014 and has been available in various forms since. The adult assessment: Surge is an extremely good citrus soda. The citrus character is more complex than Mountain Dew's. It reads as actual citrus rather than just yellow food dye with sweetness. And the carbonation level is higher, which gives it a more aggressive, lively drinking experience. The caffeine content is present but not overwhelming. As energy drinks have made us accustomed to functional beverages, Surge's proposition, caffeinated citrus soda, no pretense, holds up better than expected, actually better than we remembered. The nostalgia was underselling it. Pop-Tarts, brown sugar cinnamon. Some foods were designed with adult flavor preferences that children just happen to like, and brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts are the clearest example. The cinnamon filling is genuinely complex for an industrial pastry product. The frosting layer has a caramelized sweetness that develops correctly when toasted. The pastry crust, maligned by adult food critics, is actually a competent delivery structure that holds the filling appropriately. Brown sugar cinnamon Pop-Tarts are not fine dining. They're also not something to apologize for. They're a well-made commercial pastry product with a flavor combination that works. Toasted, always toasted. These were always good. We were right as kids. Zebra cakes, Little Debbie. Little Debbie's zebra cakes occupy a specific and successful food science position. They're designed to deliver maximum sweetness satisfaction per bite through a combination of cake, cream filling, and white chocolate-style coating that creates a multi-textural experience in each mouthful. As adults, we recognize that the white chocolate is primarily palm kernel oil with vanilla flavoring. We also recognize that it tastes good in the specific context it's intended for. Zebra cakes are a genuine pleasure delivery system at a price point that remains extraordinary. They are not sophisticated. They are reliably enjoyable. That's its own category of achievement. Lived up to memory. Honestly, might be better now that we're not worried about sharing them. Gushers. Gushers work on a principle that a food scientist would appreciate. You create expectation. Gummy exterior suggesting a single texture experience, and then violate it. Liquid interior that's genuinely surprising even when you know it's coming. The flavor of the liquid is more complex than the exterior suggests. The strawberry watermelon variety, specifically, has a brightness and tartness that's more interesting than most fruit snacks. Adult assessment. Gushers are a well-engineered product with a genuine flavor payoff. The marketing was sincere, better than expected. The novelty still works. The ones that lied to us. Lunchables, original pizza. Lunchables as a category have always been more about the experience than the food. The arrangement, the assembly, the sense of control over what you're eating, an adult tasting strips all of that away. The original pizza Lunchable contains a small cracker-style pizza crust with a sauce that tastes primarily of salt and sugar, and a processed cheese component that bears minimal relationship to mozzarella. As a child eating it at your school desk, the assembly process was an event. As an adult eating it at a table, it's a collection of aggressively mediocre processed food components. The cruel discovery is that the pizza Lunchable never tasted good. You thought it tasted good because you were allowed to arrange it yourself and eat it away from parental supervision. Strip those factors, and you're left with a disc of reconstituted crackers and cheese sauce. The memory was lying. This is not good food. Fruit roll-ups. Fruit roll-ups were sold to children as a fruit snack and to parents as a reasonable compromise between candy and fruit. Neither group got what they were promised. The product contains negligible actual fruit. It's primarily corn syrup, sugar, and pear concentrate with artificial colors, and tastes, as an adult, like sweetened red wax with a fruit suggestion. The tongue tattoo feature was the product's greatest innovation, and also an admission that the actual food part wasn't the selling point. The sugar delivery is effective. Everything else about fruit roll-ups is marketing. Adults who remember these fondly are remembering the unboxing ritual and the tattoo application, not the flavor. The memory was lying, aggressively. Squeezable Go-Gurt. Go-Gurt addressed a real engineering problem. How do you eat yogurt without a spoon or a bowl? And solved it with a product that tastes like what would happen if you strained the yogurt out of yogurt and kept only the artificial flavoring and sugar. The texture is wrong in a way that's hard to articulate. Too smooth to register as yogurt, too thick to register as a beverage, too sweet to register as a functional dairy product. Adults encounter Go-Gurt and immediately recognize that it's not yogurt. It's a yogurt-adjacent sugar delivery format. Children don't notice this because children are willing to accept a looser definition of what food is. This is probably fine for children. It is not something adults should be consuming with good feelings about it. Was never actually good. The tube was the product. Warheads. Extreme sour hard candy. Here's the painful one. Warheads are not better or worse than memory. They are exactly as they always were. The problem is that exactly as they always were is not a compliment when you're an adult. The extreme sour phase, the malic acid coating that creates the initial shock, is exactly as intense as it was. The moderate sweetness that follows is exactly as it was. And as an adult, the experience reads differently. You chose to put something in your mouth specifically to feel pain for 30 seconds. And then, the reward is a mediocre sweet. The child logic, this is an extreme experience and therefore exciting, was harder to access at 32. The malic acid hits the same. The reward feels smaller. These didn't lie to us. We lied to ourselves. They were always more about the dare than the flavor. The pattern is clear. Foods that held up are ones where the flavor is doing real work, where there's actual complexity or real ingredients creating genuine taste. Foods that failed are ones where the experience, the assembly, the novelty, the packaging, was carrying most of the load. Strip the context, and you strip the appeal. Memory is most reliable when the food itself is the point. When the memory is primarily about the packaging, the ritual, or who you were eating it with, the food usually disappoints. This is not a lesson about snacks. It's a lesson about how we remember things. Eat the Pop-Tart. Leave the Lunchable in 1998 where it belongs.